Welcome to Queen City. I'd like to go ahead and start our meeting for tonight. And tonight we start with a new administration. We have Elvis as our new president of the club. Vanessa is now our immediate past president. We have Heather as our VP of Public Relations. And who else we have online? We got Erica as our VP of Membership. Colin is our secretary. Jamie is our treasurer, most important person because you all will know him when you sign up. And I don't know if I see anybody else online. And I'm Sergeant at Arms, and I'll be starting the meeting. And also happy birthday to Eric. He was not going to make it tonight, but tonight's Eric's birthday. So happy birthday. I think he's 50 again or something like that. I don't know. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our new president, Elvis Lopez. He's like, now what do I do? There you go. Congrats.
It's been a long time. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is a pleasure to be presiding over this meeting after being here for a few years. And it's definitely a pleasure to share this responsibility with a group of officers, volunteers who share the same passion and commitment and understand the responsibility of keeping the legacy of Queen City Toastmasters. So we'll follow on your footsteps. We know that those are very hard to fill shoes. Our immediate past president, Vanessa Waller, who has taken our club to President Distinguished Club. And then for a second time, also our past president, David Jones, who is also has been area director and now division director, and it's a pleasure to have him as part of our club, to have his guidance and all his wisdom shared here with all of us. I would like to start off this meeting by introducing and recognizing our guests, both in person and on Zoom. Please tell us your name, how do you hear about Queen City Toastmasters, and what your interest is in Toastmaster. I'm going to go around and pass the mic, and then we'll go over the guests that are on Zoom.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Reginald Harris. This is actually my third visit to Toastmasters. I'm excited about it. I heard about it from doing a little research online, and I decided to try it out, and I wanted to perfect my speaking. I'm in the educational space, and I deal with a lot of different individuals and personalities, and I want to conquer that fear. And so I'm back again.
Thank you, Reginald. And here we have Amit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amit Reddy. So this is maybe my third or fourth time coming to a Toastmasters. I came before with like previous companies I've been a part of, but want to rejoin Toastmasters to be able to continue to develop my public speaking. And I do some executive coaching and leadership development. So doing a lot of presentations live, and sometimes get stumbled upon hard questions that are asked to me in the moment that are very difficult to answer. So wanting to work on that as well with public speaking. So looking forward to being with you all today.
Thank you, Amit. Now I'm going to go over our next guest here.
Hey everybody, my name is Daryl Mays, and this is actually my second time being here. The first time I came, I enjoyed it, and then I avoided it for a couple months. But I mean, ultimately, I see myself in the future like hosting events and stuff like that. And so for me, it's more about like getting the courage to be able to get up and speak in front of people. I don't really care much about like the words and what I say. It's more about, for me, getting up and just overcoming that fear of like just speaking in front of people. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. And I will go over the guests on Zoom. Who would like to start?
I don't mind. I'm just having a bit of trouble with my video right now. My name is Shahid. I was here last year. It was my, not last year, oh Lord, last week. And that was my first meeting. And I really enjoyed it. I loved the conversations and the talks. And so I was interested to come back and join you all for another session. Virtual again right now, but I would also like to start coming in person as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am Deania. I know it reads Deania, but it's Deania. I'm actually a prior member from Florida, from Jacksonville. I was a table topics winner when I was a part of Toastmasters. I just relocated here to Charlotte, so I'm looking to be a part again and get around some fellow like-minded people. I compete in pageants. I host events, and so I'm out in the public a lot, looking to run for city council in the next couple of years. I just want to perfect my craft. So thank you guys for having me.
And next up is, who's going next?
I'll go next. I'm having trouble with my video. I am Allie Brooke, and this is my second time. I was online last week. It was a really great event, and I'm looking forward to joining you all in person. I am a director of client engagements in the technology space and also do life coaching, and wanted to be with like-minded people and perfect my craft, and look forward to being involved with all of you and getting to know everybody.
Thank you. I see two other guests. Yes. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, my name is Anosi. This is my first time here. I'm just here to work on basically getting better at public speaking and properly communicating my thoughts and ideas better. So that's what I'm here to work on.
Do we have one more person? Or is that all? Jordan? Okay, so that's all the guests. Thank you all for the introduction. And now we're going to go through the conduction of this meeting, the part of the meeting that is going to be now led by one of the Toastmasters, who is going to be the PM for the night. And that is none other than our Toastmaster of the evening, Jennifer Farias.
Thank you. Thank you, Elvis. Welcome, everyone, Toastmasters and honorable guests. My name is Jenny, and I will be the Toastmaster of this evening. The theme I chose is Hamilton, Powerful Life Lessons in Hip Hop Lyrics. With a show of hands, how many of you have either watched the musical Hamilton, either in person or seen it on Disney Plus? I know a few of you back there, or you've heard of it at least. Okay, so mostly everybody, not surprised. Hamilton, I've seen it twice now. I saw it early on in Chicago in person when Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator, was, part of it. And then I saw it again in Charlotte just last month. It was here, and just blown away by the telling of that story through that lens, right? And it really is a story of America then told by America now. And for those of you who have seen it or have heard about it, it was really kind of a game-changing musical, right? And it was mostly a Black and Latin cast, and the entire musical is a rap. It's in hip hop lyrics. So if anybody here, I intended to do this as a freestyle or in hip hop lyrics, but I didn't want to scare all the guests away because there's a lot of new guests here today. But if anybody wants to do any of their lines as a freestyle, I more than encourage that. But I chose the theme because I thought it was pretty topical and timely. Obviously, yesterday was July 4th, and it was Independence Day. And also there's just, a lot of things happening in our society recently, and it really is a story. It's very multifaceted, controversial, and provocative, and it really is just that, and a representation of a lot of the things that's what's happening in our society right now. And it is the classic American story, right? The struggle, the fight for freedom, for independence, and back then maybe as a country, but even that now really holds true for whether what gender you are or your race or your belief system. It's all always constantly being challenged. And so the other side to what really kind of stood out to me when I watched it for the second time, it really is this story about legacy. And I think all of us, we've made a decision to come here to Toastmasters to improve ourselves, to be better people, to improve our craft, to be able to communicate. And so we're already all taking a stance at, being vocal to do that. And so if we think about legacy and what we want to leave behind for future generations, I think that is a really impactful part of what Hamilton did for pop culture in that space. So throughout today's evening, I will be sharing some thought-provoking lyrics. I won't be rapping them, but I'll just read them out and hopefully to inspire and motivate you to kind of, think a little bit differently about how you show up to the space. So with that, I'm going to kick off the meeting and I'm going to introduce fellow Toastmaster Eric Laxer, which is on Zoom, and he is our joke master. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jenny. I'm going to provide an inspirational vignette this evening. So the other day I was looking at my iPhone and I was marveling at its sleek appearance. And I was so impressed that I really wanted to know a little bit more in terms of what exactly is it made of. So I went on the internet and I discovered that our iPhones are made from aluminum, carbon, copper, gold, iron, all of these basic building blocks. And I was amazed to see that these are all simple elements that we find within Earth. And it made me think of the saying, there's nothing new under the sun, which comes from the biblical book of Ecclesiastes and is thought to have been written 250 years ago during the days of King Solomon. Yet there was no iPhone 2,500 years ago. However, over the course of time, human ingenuity has allowed for things to be built and modified, either as tools or products. And it made me think of other things in our world from a similar perspective. For example, there are 26 letters in the English language, and it's been this way for about 500 years. There are also just 3 primary colors. All the colors that we see in our world really come from a combination of those 3 primary colors. And it's been that way for thousands of years. And there are 7 basic notes in the modern musical scale, do, re, mi, etc. And it's been this way for about 1,000 years. Yet despite the fact that over all these years, no new letters have been added, we continue to see magnificent works in literature with stories, poetry, theater, film. And despite the fact that in our lifetime, no new primary colors have been added to the spectrum, we continue to see magnificent works of art in paintings and drawings. And despite the fact that in our lifetime, no new musical notes have been added to the 7-note scale, we continue to see magnificent new works in all styles of music, including hip hop and rap, which was mentioned earlier. Yet all of these pieces of music are based on the same musical notes that we've had for over 1,000 years. So how can this be? Well, my explanation is that the saying, there's nothing new under the sun, is really only partially true. Because what is new under the sun is each of us as individuals who are having our own personal turn passing through history and making our own contributions to the world. In other words, what is new under the sun is you. You are each different. You each have opportunities to offer your individual gifts to the world. And even though the letters, the colors, and the musical notes have not changed, each of us has so much ingenuity so much originality and so much innovation inside of us just waiting to burst out. So my message is that we should all have the courage to unleash our powers, the courage to unleash our gifts, the courage to unleash our creativity to the world, and in so doing, make the world a better place. So go forth, my fellow Toastmasters, go forth and let your beautiful, magnificent gifts to the world soar. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
So well said. I love that. And it's actually a really good setup for the first lyric that I'll share with you. And Eric is just right? We are the catalyst for change. I mean, humanity has existed for all of these, generations, but I think one of the things that stood out to me is the very famous one, right? If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. And in my mindset, it's really that, what Hamilton was pointing out there, it's the idea of the importance of decision-making that's based on a core values, right? It's very easy to take the route to kind of sit back, watch what's happening in the world, watch what's happening, even in the construct of your own life. And just, it seems overwhelming to really get involved or be vocal or have a stance, but that is really the difference, right? It's you are, kind of the next generation. All of us here have the opportunity to really make a difference. And so stand for something. And then with that, I will now bring up Jamie Richardson, which is our grammarian of the day, and we'll be sharing a word of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am the grammarian for tonight's meeting, which means I will be listening for the use of filler words like but and and, things that we rely on when we're not comfortable with silence as we gather our thoughts. I'll also be listening for particularly effective use of language that I thought resonated in the speakers that we hear from today. And I have the distinct privilege of providing our word of the day, which just happens to be, coincidentally enough, we didn't plan that at all, legacy. So the definition, if you go look it up in the dictionary, is something boring about transmitting property through will or other transmission of and gifts from ancestors, but I'm hoping I'm not stealing a quote from you. Do you quote this later? All right. Well, what I thought, because I haven't actually seen Hamilton, so I started looking into themes actually as well. And one of them obviously is legacy. And so the way Alexander Hamilton in the musical quotes legacy, he asks, what is legacy? It is planting seeds in a garden that you will never see. I thought that's an amazing metaphor, right? The commitment, the investment that you make in future generations. So I encourage everyone to use the word of the day today as you're going through your remarks. And that includes our table topic speakers as well. And then at the end, I will provide the grammarian's report. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
It's all right. I have it like printed in my office as a big thing. That was the main lyric that I was like in love with. That's what it's all about, right? So I'm glad that was the word of the day. So the next, I'm going to call up the timer now, which is going to be Madeline, and she will explain the timing. Welcome, Madeline.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And I'll actually do my introduction from here because I have a prop. So I'm the timer for today's Toastmaster has a legacy of timed speeches. And my role today will be to help our speakers keep track of their time. So for our prepared speeches, they're usually 5 to 7 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, I will put on the green light. At the 6-minute mark, the yellow light, which is that one. And then at the 7-minute mark, the red light. We will also have table topics, which are 1 to 2 minutes, and we'll follow the same format. 1 minute, green, 1.5 minutes, yellow, and 2 minutes, red. And then our evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 minutes, green, 2.5 minutes, yellow, and 3 minutes, red. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. And then next up, I'm going to call up Heather, which is our ballot counter, and she will explain how the ballot counting process will work. Welcome, Toastmaster Heather.
Thank you, Jenny. Hello, friends. So for the ballot counting, if you can please vote, we have, let me get so there's a best speaker. So there's vote for best speaker, yes. And best evaluator, and then best table topics. So if you could please tear your votes now, so it's not obnoxious during the process, that would be awesome. And I have an amazing book called The Power of One More by Ed Milet. I have 2 of them, so I didn't come prepared with 3. So what I'm gonna do is for the best speaker and the best table topics, I'm going to give a free book. So yes, so thank you. Oh, so what did the Zoom people do? To the club view, I've never done Zoom, so send a direct message of the person that you're. Hello. Send a direct message to just send a direct message to who you would like to vote for, direct, right? To Club View. Thank you. Please vote though.
Thank you, Heather. Okay, and in this portion of the evening, we will kick off with our speeches, and I'm really excited to introduce our first speaker of the evening, Junior Gomez, which is going to be giving a speech entitled "Taking the Steps to Believe." So welcome, Toastmaster Junior.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guest. My name is Junior Gomez, and as Jenny said, I will be giving a speech on belief. Belief. Everyone in this room had to believe they can be here today. They had to believe that they can get in a car and drive it here, get here safely. In order for you to be a better public speaker, you have to believe you're here right now, sitting in these very chairs because you believe you can be skilled at that craft. You can become better. Now, a lot of people believe and think that belief just correlates to religion. This brings back a story. So one of my friends in New York City, his name is John. I love John. He's one of my very best friends. Incredible person, smart, has so much potential. Me and him would hang out and we would talk about our beliefs and life and so on and so on. And I asked him, do you believe in anything? He said, absolutely not. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the universe. I don't believe in anything. I just believe we're here just to experience this moment and that's it. And of course, that sat with me. I had to think, why? But of course, I knew his past. I had to understand that he had a difficult past growing up. His circumstances made him believe, why, if there is a God, why should I believe that he instilled whatever he instilled on me as a child? Very true, very true. But as we're speaking, I gave him some encouraging words, some positivity for him to understand that he doesn't have to believe in a higher power, but if he's not going to believe in anything, to believe in himself. If you're not going to believe in anything, take the time to believe in yourself, because we all have the power. We all have the capabilities to do that. And it all starts with the mind. A lot of times you ask people, or they ask you, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I said, well, do you believe in that? Are you taking the steps to do that? And they say, yeah, absolutely. Okay, what are you doing? Well, I sit at home and watch Netflix. So you don't believe. You don't believe that you can do it. because believing is the first step, then you start taking action. And a lot of people think that you just have to take action immediately. But how do you take action towards something if you don't believe? If you don't believe that you can do something? So a lot of the times we go through on our days and we do the things that excite us and whatever that may be. I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways. Yeah, so believe, and you keep on going. Anyways, what I wanted to say is throughout your time, throughout what you're doing in life and how you're doing it, you have to take the little steps first in order to build those muscles. The same way we build our muscles of our bodies, belief is also a muscle that you have to train. The same way habit is, the same way discipline is, you must train these muscles to get to that current level. If you start off too strong, if you just jump at something, you do not have the roots in order to sustain that storm that's gonna come and knock you down. You have to be able to build up slowly and surely in order for you to get to the goals, to your aspirations, to wherever it is that you wanna do. You have to build up slowly. You have to get there incrementally. Now, my advice to you and everyone in this room, that if you believe that anything is possible, that's the day that you become unstoppable. That's the day that you will conquer your dreams, that you will conquer your fears, anything that stands in your way. Because whatever stands in your way at that time, when you have that belief, and that belief is so strong, the obstacles that you see in the road, they once look like mountains, they're gonna start looking like little bumps. And you're just gonna hop over them as if they were nothing. So today, I urge everyone here that if you don't believe in a higher power, if you don't believe in anything else, take the time to believe in yourself and take the steps to do that, one step at a time, putting one foot in front of the other, and go ahead and leave that legacy.
Thank you, Junior. I love that. And it's so in alignment, I think, with a lot of what Hamilton talked about and kind of the struggles that he was really trying to get across and really going against the grain and not following the crowd. And had a really strong set of beliefs. And I think where belief is anchored is purpose, right? So when you feel like you have defined your purpose, or if you don't know what that is yet, it's totally fine, but you've got to believe, at least in yourself, I think, is a starting point that you will get on a pathway to really figure that out. And so I think it was really in alignment with what we're talking about. And something from last week's Toastmaster that really opened my eyes when the TED Talk speaker was saying, how did you get up there and do it? And it's really removing like your ego almost and your crazy, death spiral of thoughts that we all go into. And you're almost like the vessel to carry on that message, to carry that legacy. And I think that really landed for me and even holds true for tonight's theme. So next up is our second speaker, which made her entrance, and I always love to see her speak. Please welcome Andrea Chocolate Butterfly Williams.
What? If it's not, don't worry about it. It's better with the volume. Hello, everyone. So welcome to the dream sequence. So the dream sequence is where you can achieve everything. And Jenny sent me a message and she was like, Andrea, you sing, you can do this. And I started listening to Hamilton and I said, no, I can't do that. But I will play one of the songs at the end because I'm gonna take my shot. That song hit me so hard because it was so hard. So I was gonna come in, y'all know how they always say, she comes in with these grand interests, but I had to carry the caterpillar and yeah, that wasn't gonna work. Next slide. So welcome to the dream sequence. And you can hit the next slide. I am Andrea, the chocolate butterfly. I'm the chocolate butterfly because I believe that you are to transform, you are to mature into your butterfly. We're not to sit there and be caterpillars and crawl through life slowly. This is the world of, I call it Instagram. We do it for the gram. Yesterday I did it for the gram. My mother, they call her Gram. It's her birthday. So I have to do a shout out for our 4th of July. But a great book awakens minds. And so the book that is in this picture is the seven highly habits of effective people. Yeah. And the second one in there is that you should begin with the end in mind. And in our books, we always say the end is just the beginning. Next slide. We always have that at the end of the book. So the book never ends, it continues. And I want them to get that in their head. And the reason for that is that habit number 2, it comes directly from the Bible. So that a man thinketh, so that is he. And I think it's after doing more research about Hamilton, I've been really wanting to see it, and that's really encouraging me to see it, that it's all about the end is only the beginning. He said, this is what I'm going to do. I came here to do this, even though the man told him to be quiet. He still kept saying what he was going to do. And that's kind of what I want you to do in the dream sequence. I want you to clear your mind of all of those thoughts that you said, oh, I can't do that because that's the impossible. So we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to say, we're going to look for the possible. So your dreams coming true doesn't mean you do the impossible, but it means that you can do what's possible. Next slide, please. Now, I know that you've been around people and they say you've changed. How many have been around people and you've changed? Because you're doing something they're not used to, right? So when I became the chocolate butterfly, people kept telling me, you can't do that. That's childish. Nobody's gonna get that. Nobody's gonna understand. And I started developing in that because I knew that it was something there. I believed in it. It had nothing to do with anybody else said. But sometimes we have to understand that a good little caterpillar morphs into a butterfly. And it doesn't mean you've changed necessarily, but it means you matured. And to mature in Christ is to be perfect. Next slide. So our number 1 in our dream sequence is to dream. So I want everybody to close their eyes with me indulge me for 5 seconds. Close your eyes and think of how many dreams that you have. It may be to stand on a TEDx stage. It may be to start that business. It may be to be an artist. It may be to be the CEO of that company. Whatever it is, you have the dream to do it. You have the desire to do it. Next slide, please. No, stop there. Stay right there. So I didn't know he went to the next one already. So pursue your dreams. So number 2, now that you know what your dream is. So my dream was to be an influencer. At the time, I didn't know what that was. I was born in 71. I don't know what an influencer was, but I wanted to help people transform their lives. So my whole life has been about bringing transformation to other people. And now I have a platform to do that. And it's just because I kept pursuing it. I've been mentors, I've been minister, I've been CEO, I've been coach, I've been finance director, I've been a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not bragging, I'm just saying what I've been, okay? So I've been doing this, I'm not new to this, all right? So that is what you have to do. You have to pursue your dream. So once I was this little girl and I came into the world And I'm gonna pull her by her hair, and I get mad when people do that. Don't do that when you have kids. If you don't have kids, don't pull them by the hair. But my mom looked down at me with starry eyes, and I came in the world screaming, "Hey world, look at me." And somewhere I started beginning to be a good little caterpillar. I'm gonna say it was from day one because my mom sings to me. And she said, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word." And I saw her smile. And I kept doing everything in my power to make her and everyone around me smile. So I became the good caterpillar. And maybe you've been guilty of this too. You stayed in your place. You've done what they told you. You worked the 20 years to retirement. You've done everything they said, and you're still not happy. It's this new thing going around. Instead of saying happy 4th, they're like, "Are you happy?" And I ask you today, are you really happy? Are you really living your dream? Are you really doing what you set out in life to do? And so that is number 2. You have to pursue it. It's not going to just happen. And if you don't believe it, number 3, please. If you don't believe it, you can go to the next slide. If you don't believe it, your dreams won't come true. Lily wanted to fly. And everybody told her to be a good little caterpillar, so that's what she did. But she wanted to fly. So she learned how to sing. Why? Just like me, because mama song. That's my gift. I got it from my mama. It's a song, those who know it. And number 3 is I believed in my dreams. I didn't care what anyone else said. I didn't care what everybody else thought. I believed in my dreams. So I went from being a caterpillar to a butterfly. And this little unique little apparatus here I found, someone had made it for one of their kids, and God blessed me to find it. And every time I want to stop believing in my dreams, believing in who I am, he puts something else in my past. He puts a little kid in my past to say, when they see this book, me too. I have a dream. I just want to reach my goal. Can you help me? And I know that my purpose is to be the chocolate butterfly. Next slide. And as I was preparing this speech, I thought about all the things that had brought me to this point. And I remember seeing the movie with Helen Keller. She became blind as an infant when she got sick. And she did some miraculous things as a blind and deaf person. Things I can't do, she did. But she had some things that she would always say some phenomenal things. And these, if you have a camera or phone, I would take it and keep it. But she said that the most exciting things happen in the imagination. That's your dreams. And if you want to tell me dreams don't come true, I want you to think with me. Has anybody had that dream where you were running? You was running. You didn't get tired, you just kept running. And you don't run across the room in real life. In your dreams, you can achieve. If you can dream it, you can do it. Next slide. Last but not least, be like me. I want you to literally live your dreams. Live your dreams. In the movie, the play Hamilton, the musical Hamilton, there is a song, like I started with it, and it says, "I'm gonna take my shot." And this song is so phenomenal that I'm gonna play just a bit of it if my phone will allow me. I know sometimes the internet doesn't work down here. Of course, it's gonna do that. But I'm gonna continue. But the song is so powerful, and I don't know if I'm stealing Jenny's shine as we're gonna keep going, because I'm not gonna let this deter me from this song. I just wanna get this last song in. I'm just not gonna throw away my shot. So if you don't wanna throw away your shot, I'm encouraging you to be you, butterfly. Be every unique butterfly. Pursue your dream and take your shot. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. It's always a powerful speech that she gives, and that is really the main song. And it took Lin-Manuel Miranda a year to perfect it and craft it. And it is just that, right? We are like just like our country, young, scrappy, and hungry, and we're just here to take our one shot, right, in this world that we live in, and to make a difference. So thank you for integrating it into your speech. Next up is a timers report. Yes, I'm going to call Madeline.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And junior official apology. I'm not sure what happened with my clock. Sorry for interrupting your speech. Actually lost your time in the middle of it, so no time there. And Andrea spoke for 8 minutes and 48 seconds. So I'm not sure if she qualifies. So that's it.
Great. The next portion of the evening is we're moving to table topics. And I'm gonna call up Lon to give us our table topics and introduce that segment. Welcome, Lon.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. And yes, my name is Lon again, and I am the table topic for this evening. After countless meetings, I can finally say that table topic Toastmaster is probably one of my favorite roles to sign up for, because I get to come up with questions that I will be asking you guys for this evening. And I promise that some of the questions are not hard. So it is designed to help us to improve our impromptu speaking skills, and as well as our critical thinking. And I've heard that some of you guys are here to improve your presentations and so on and so forth. So this is a good time to do so. And anybody is welcome to participate. So of course that includes our guests. And without further ado, do I have the first volunteer for this evening? The gentleman right over there, he raised his hand first. Yeah, okay. All right. First question for you. What is your favorite play and why?
Thank you. Great question. My favorite play would be The Temptations. This was the first time I had a chance to travel to New York City to see a play on Broadway. This happened right before the pandemic, 2019, and it was amazing. I mean, to say the least. The performers were phenomenal in the way that they delivered their message, in addition to the storytelling that was involved in the entire speech. If you know anything about Temptations, or maybe have seen the movie The Five Heartbeats, which is kind of based on their story, it's a phenomenal, funny, like well-rounded story about guys getting together and camaraderie and the struggles and challenges of having a group and seeing it all live. And their voices just created an energy in the room that just exploded. And so I would say that was probably my favorite. Yeah, my favorite play. Although I have a couple of others that I enjoyed. I took my daughter to see, I want to say Shazam, but it's not Shazam. It's the play where Will Smith plays the genie. Aladdin, there it is. Aladdin was a really great one too. I saw that here in Charlotte. It was phenomenal, but still I would rank it below The Temptations, but those two are probably one of my favorite ones. So thank you.
Thank you. What was your name? I'm sorry. Eugene? His name is Eugene. All right. Do I have a second volunteer, Zoom in person? Oh, I'm gonna go on the guess. Okay. You right there, sir. What's your name? Daryl. There. All right. And your question is, if a movie was made of your life, what genre would it be?
Do I have to use the word legacy in the answer? Am I supposed to do that, or is that just for speakers? All right. First of all, this topic is amazing because I've seen Hamilton 1,000 times because my girlfriend loves it. So I've seen it like millions of times. If a movie was made about my life, what genre? I think it would be a comedy, because like I think, and not comedy like to where it's just always funny, where there's always laughter, but it's more like my life is, I look at everything from a positive outlook, being positive, being optimistic. So everything I go into, even like coming here tonight, it's like I have to find a way to be joke or to make a joke or be like jokingly, because I get nervous speaking in front of people. So when I get up here and I'm talking, like me smiling and all this, I like, that's how I operate, because I don't know what I'm talking about. but I mean, but I don't know. Like laughter just makes me feel like comfortable. You know what I mean? And so that's how I live my life. So I'm not sure what the movie would be about, to be honest. That's a minute, so I'm done.
You did great. You did great. And for the last question, I think I'm going to give it to our guest right over there. All right. And what's your name? Emmett. Emmett. All right. I am going to go a little bit off topic. And the question I have for you is, if you were invited to a cookout, what would you bring and why?
So, and we have to use legacy as well too, right? Okay. So if I were to be invited to a cookout, I would probably bring a curry turkey. And immediately you might say why. So for me, my family's from India, but I'm also American. I'm a second generation immigrant. So my parents are from India. I was born here in the US. So it's a little bit of a mixture of both. And that kind of defines my life. So a curry turkey would bring in the US as well as India, my Indian background as well. And as I think about what I want to share with the world, it comes from both angles of my background and my experience. So if I were to bring something to a cookout, it'd be a curry turkey. 1, because it's delicious. 2, because it has a good story behind it. And 3, it'd be funny to see if some people can handle the spice or not. Yep.
Thank you, Emmett. All right, so we have one more questions. Do I have any volunteer for the last questions on Zoom in person?
Hey, I'll volunteer.
Alan. I didn't see your hands raised, that's why.
Yeah, I said I'll volunteer.
Okay, last questions for this evening. What's your favorite way to waste time online?
Oh, what a good question. So by the way, my name's Fitz. To those that I have not met, I am a fellow Toastmaster member. My favorite way to waste time online, I think it would have to start out with social media. I typically have a pattern. So usually I would start out with Instagram, scroll through that. Once I'm done scrolling through Instagram, that'll probably give me motivation, as in maybe I might feel inspired to work on a business plan, and then I'll go to Google, search Google, or maybe I will get inspired to create content of some sort. So then it'll be a YouTube. Or if I'm just in a pretty relaxed mode and I want to just kind of take my time and enjoy life, then it might just be Netflix and would see what's going on within the top 10. So today at work, actually, I took a quick 30-minute break, and during that 30-minute break, that's exactly how I spent my time, of going to Instagram, Google, YouTube. No Netflix, unfortunately, but I'll get around to that tonight. And I actually can't see if it's green or not. It looks green, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end
It
it
is
there.
green, yes.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, Fitz. All right. Thank you for all of those that participated. And at this time, I would like to ask for a timers report.
Thank you, Lon. Okay, so timers report, Eugene spoke for 1 minute and 18 seconds, And Daryl started a tradition of 1-minute speeches. So from then on, we rolled with it. So back to you.
Thanks, Lon. Those are great questions. So we've heard a lot about, just the idea from Hamilton of believing in something, right? Or you'll fall for anything, believing in yourself. Junior really reinforced that, and then believing in your dreams. So that kind of as a just overall theme, I think of Hamilton that we took away from and this evening. And of course, Eric, I love what he said. And like, not a lot has changed in history in terms of colors and notes, but us as people, as humans, we are really the catalyst, right, to create art and newness and change and all that. So I love that. It's one of the last quotes that I'll share that really stood out to me as something that I think was thought-provoking is, "You want a revolution, I want a revelation. So listen to my declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. And when I meet Thomas Jefferson, I'm compelled him to include women in the sequel." And really here, in my opinion, Hamilton is reinforcing the notion of equality, right? And so without that as the foundation for all decision making, I think, no progress can be made. So everybody's got to be equally represented in all decisions. And so with that, we'll go to the next segment. I'll be introducing, do I ask for a grammarian report or no? Okay, David Jones, which is our general evaluator. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. And my legacy will be to evaluate the meeting tonight. I'll do that at the end. I'll just evaluate how we did in the meeting. Both of our evaluators are online. So if you all can look at the club view, you should be able to see the lights when they light up. And first, for all the guests, every time you give a speech, you get evaluated. That's part of Toastmasters, where you get feedback from your peers, and they tell you the good parts and room for improvement. And that's what we're going to do now. And we're going to turn it over to immediate past President Vanessa Waller to evaluate Junior speech. Take it away, Vanessa.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Junior, for giving us a really heartfelt and inspiring speech tonight. You opened your speech with a way to relate to the audience. You talked about how everyone here has thought about this concept of belief. We're all here at Toastmasters because we want to believe in ourselves to be better speakers. And I wanted to highlight that opening because that's actually a wonderful way to begin a speech. It's important for speakers to start off by making sure there's a rapport with their audience, making sure that what they're talking about, even if it's something very personal, is something that people start to care about. And once you establish that rapport, then your audience started to really listen and care about what your topic was as you got further into your speech. Another thing I loved about your speech tonight is, of course, belief is a broad idea. It's very nebulous in many ways, but you made it concrete by applying imagery. You likened our belief to like building a muscle. You talked about how working on our confidence is like working on a muscle, and who can't relate to that? We've all had that feeling of trying to get more athletic and working our muscles and feeling that soreness afterwards. And I think it's an excellent image in the audience's mind to think more critically about what belief really means. I also loved your pacing. I think you had a really nice relaxed stage presence. It's something I'm always trying to work on, not speaking too quickly so that the audience is left behind, and not too slowly so that they don't start to feel drowsy and tune out. And I think your energy was just such a natural feeling, and it made the audience feel really relaxed when they were listening to you. One thing I wanted to point out that you did very gracefully is at one point in your speech, you said, "Oh, I lost my train of thought." And you took a pause, but then you moved right on to your next idea. One technique I've heard that has helped speakers is when they forget something, they go back and repeat the previous idea. And they keep repeating what they remember of their speech until they remember the very next idea. And then maybe they take a pause and no one knows that you've forgotten anything. And that's kind of an interesting little speaking hack that has been useful for many people as well. One thing you could work on, in addition to perhaps practicing that technique of pausing and repeating your ideas, is making sure that your pacing around the stage is really intentional. One thing I've observed with some of the most engaging speakers is they move with their subject matter. So for instance, if you are transitioning to a new part of your speech, if you are bringing up a new idea, maybe you take that moment to walk to the other side of the stage, and then you move back when you're concluding your speech, for example. But overall, I'm so excited for your next speech. I think you did an excellent job tonight, and congratulations on another successful speech. I'll turn it back over to David.
Thank you, Toastmaster Waller. And our next evaluator is a newer member, Jordan. Jordan's on Zoom as well. And I believe this might be his first evaluation. So Jordan, go ahead and let us know what you thought of Andrea's speech.
Thank you, David. Yes, it is my first evaluation, and I'm evaluating Andrea Chocolate Butterfly Williams' speech. After the speech, I have a whole new perspective on her journey and legacy. She took us into the dream sequence, and I was not there in person to see all the props, but I could feel her stage presence online here in Cotswold. She had a commanding take on the room. She walked from side to side. I saw her pick up a book, and at one point I think she was running in place. And so I think that sort of energy and stage presence really presented well and kept the audience engaged. There was also, I appreciated the step-by-step guide. It was very clear, and with the slides: know your dream, pursue your dream, believe in your dream, and live your dream. And at one point, maybe my favorite point in the speech is when she got the audience involved, which happened a couple times, but the close your eyes. And I think she said it twice to really hit home. And I saw some people on Zoom close their eyes. And I thought that really brought the audience in and made them present with your speech. I know that at the end, we were a little bit rushed, and I would have liked to hear more about the living your dream section of the speech. One thing that you may be able to do if you're tight on time constraints is to combine the pursue your dream with the believe in your dream, kind of the take action and persevere, don't give up, and maybe that might allow for some more time to see the last part of the speech. In closing, I really look forward to seeing you up there again and taking another shot sometime soon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jordan. And with that, I'm going to get a timer's report. Okay.
Thank you, Toastmaster David. Vanessa spoke for 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and Jordan for 1 minute and 58 seconds. So both qualified. Thank you.
Thank you much. And if you all could vote, Heather's coming around to get your ballots, and also those of you on Zoom, if you want to send it to ClubView, direct message, and she'll go over and check that in a moment as well. And let's see, as far as the meeting goes, we always like to do the grammarian last so that he can pick up on all my so's and ums. And the meeting was great. We had a few new people. Heather, this is her first time as a ballot counter and starting to do rolls, so that's always good. Same with our evaluator, Jordan, and I believe this is Junior's second speech, right? Yep. So everybody's starting to join the club, start doing well, start working on things. The ringer went off, and that threw Junior off. And I've been thrown off by timers before too. It's just, it happens. But that's the thing about Toastmasters is we're here to practice. And when we're giving speeches and meetings or whatever, there might be a baby crying or somebody coughing, and it's going to throw you off. And this is a place to practice. So it was great that you did it. And like you mentioned, build those muscles towards distractions. So it's just, I recently saw a thing on Instagram, like Fitz was talking about, with Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan was giving a speech outside, and there was balloons, and one of the balloons went off, and he didn't even flinch. He just said, "Missed me." and it was hysterical, but it was just, he had given so many speeches that there was no distractions at him. He just kept going on, even though somebody might have just shot at him. Now, I've had timer issues before, and whenever I give a speech, I always have my own timer or my watch, because that'll really mess you up if you, so that's the main thing, is always carry your own timer, or at least do it on your watch, and then you won't be distracted. Overall, we had a lot of great turnout. We have, 15 people in person, 6 guests, and then 10 on Zoom, 4 which are guests. So we have 10 guests. We're doing great as a club. So thank you to the guests for coming, and we appreciate and hope to see you again and again. Let's see, we have Eugene in the back. Eugene's an old member, and he just rejoined. He just joined this week back. So welcome back, Eugene. Which Eugene might be one of our oldest standing members, because he was here years ago. I don't know if Elvis is pretty old school too, but anyways, meeting was great. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our grammarian, so I can stop saying so.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, and good evening again. So I'm here to provide the grammarian's report. I want to start with some effective use of language that resonated with me, that I thought was particularly powerful or useful or evocative language. I'll start with Eric and your comment of you are what is new under the sun. I thought that was a really powerful message in context of human ingenuity. Junior, your comment, if you don't believe in anything, believe in yourself, I thought was really powerful. And it was a really great inflection point in your speech as well. So keep working on that kind of thing. And then Andrea, we're not meant to be caterpillars crawling through life slowly. I thought that was another powerful comment. So some of the really great things that we heard today, I'm not going to go through all the filler words. I'll share a few. There's Jenny, you had a few ums throughout. Lynn, none that I heard. So congratulations. Junior, a couple, but really only at that moment where you got distracted. So overall, fantastic job. Andrea, none. Lon, none. So congratulations on the table topics. David, a couple uhs here and there. Vanessa, none. Jordan, a couple of uhs, but again, fantastic job for your first evaluation as well. For all of our guests, I won't go through all the details there, but I do suggest and encourage everyone actually to go onto YouTube and listen to the videos. We record all of these, and you can go back and listen to your self-speech. It's a great way to pick up on those verbal cues that you may not even know you're using, or crutches that you're using, as well as just how you prepared and presented. Lastly, word of the day. I'll call out a couple. I definitely heard Jenny use it frequently. Special bonus points to Elvis, who used it before he even knew it was the word of the day. So congratulations. Lynn, I heard. Junior, I heard. David, I heard. Jordan, I heard. And I probably missed a few others. But again, fantastic job to everyone. Great meeting, and look forward to next week. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to our Toastmaster, who will introduce our ballot counter to get our winners tonight.
Thank you, David. And at this point, I will call up Heather to unveil the winners. Welcome back, Heather.
Thank you. Okay, I successfully counted the ballots. We have some winners. So for best speech, we have Junior. And here's your book, Junior. Congratulations. Yes, it's an awesome book. It's like my new favorite. For table topics, Eugene. Congratulations. It's great. Thank you. And for best evaluator, it's Vanessa. So, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. And thank you for everybody that participated and came today. So many guests. It's so nice to see the group growing. I think this is the most guests I've ever, witnessed, both online and Zoom. And just to close things out with the theme of this evening, which I think is, like I said, really timely, and legacy was my final quote, but I'll just repeat it because it is that good. It was basically legacy. What is a legacy? Planting a seed in a garden that you never get to see. And I think that just was so powerful and landed for me. And in a world where we're really seeking instant gratification and wanting to see immediate results, if we want to do something pretty, big in our lifetime, we have to kind of like remove ourselves from that day to day and understand that there has to be a bigger purpose than ourselves if we want to make an impact and if we want to leave a legacy. And in summary, there's just so many powerful lyrics. Hopefully, for those of you that haven't seen Hamilton, you can catch it on Disney Plus. I think it's definitely worth watching. And hopefully it'll inspire positivity, motivate you, and just really educate you on really the meaning of life and legacy. And with that, I'll pass it back to Elvis, right? Here. Sorry, I haven't done this one in a while. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Another round of applause for our Toastmaster of the night for an excellent job again. And like Jenny said, today we had an awesome participation from our guests. I would like to turn it over to our guests. I will start with the ones that are on Zoom to hear your feedback about what you think about the meeting as a whole. Any of the guests would like to share?
I thought this meeting was helpful. Since this is my first time, I just wanted to stay back and get the process of how everything goes. But I feel like I do kind of get the hang of it now, so I'll be ready to volunteer for next time when I arrive.
Great. Anybody else on Zoom? Okay. How about our guests in person here? To pass the mic to.
Thank you, Reginald Harris here speaking. Like I was saying earlier, this is my third visit to Toastmasters, and just taking in everything and seeing how everything is structured and the way everything flows kind of makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. And so I'm looking to, maybe next week getting involved with like a table topic or something like that to, just test the waters and see how I do.
Yes. Anybody else?
Hey, Amit Reddy here. I think it's always helpful to hear from speakers who are probably better than you are in your current state, so you can continue to develop and grow your craft. So really appreciate the speakers today and just hearing from everyone. Just the way that you enunciate or you're able to grab the attention of the room was really helpful to see. So, and love the topic of Hamilton and legacy. So, yeah.
Thank you. Before we close the meeting tonight, I would like to ask for the officers for any report or any information that you might have. If not, then I will close the meeting tonight. Thank you so much for coming and welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. And we will be having another awesome meeting next week. We count on all of you. Thank you.